This is our message to Americans in Democrat-run cities nationwide. Decline is a choice. You don't have to live in constant fear of being robbed, raped, or murdered. Your leaders are lying to you, and they have been failing you for decades. The President Trump approach of upholding law and order by letting our brave men and women in blue actually do their jobs to aggressively fight crime works. In just a few weeks, President Trump has done more for D.C. residents than Democrats did in 50 years. And this can be replicated in other crime-ridden cities across the nation. As President Trump has said, all of these elected officials in charge have to do is pick up the phone and ask for the president and the federal government's help. President Trump doesn't care if they are a Republican or a Democrat leader. He wants Americans to be safe and for every law-abiding American citizen across the country to be able to thrive in their city and in their community. As for Chicago and cracking down on crime, it is a priority of this administration to ensure that American cities are safe again. And I'm so glad that you brought up the crime in Chicago, because we've been seeing the governor of Illinois parading out there saying that there's nothing wrong with Chicago. It's a great place to live. There's no crime there. He doesn't need President Trump's help. Well, I think the residents of Chicago beg to differ, and to rely on the Steele dossier without verifying its methodology or sourcing. The Steele dossier that many outlets and the statistics beg to differ, and I'll just share a few of those statistics with all of you. For 13 consecutive years, Chicago has had the most murders of any U.S. city. This is J.B. Pritzker's legacy, by the way. For 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities with more than 1 million people. In 2024, just last year, Chicago's murder rate per capita was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City. That's more than double the murder rate in Islamabad and nearly 15 times more than Delhi. Out of Chicago's 147,899 reported crimes this year, that's how many crimes have been reported in Chicago since January 1st. There have only been arrests in 16% of them. These numbers are unacceptable. There have been more illegal guns recovered in Chicago than in New York City and Los Angeles combined. The number of reported motor vehicle thefts last year was more than double the number in 2021. And Chicago has also, just like DC, come under scrutiny over discrepancies in its homicide data reporting. So as bad as these numbers are, perhaps they are even worse. And this is Governor Pritzker's legacy. He should put politics aside. He should pick up the phone and call this president, who would be more than happy to do right by law-abiding American residents in the city of Chicago, and we hope that he will. According to new polling, 81% of Americans say crime is a major problem in large cities across the country. And a clear majority of Americans believe the president's actions are justified and necessary to reduce crime in these cities. Indu Bhatia, who runs a liquor store a half mile from the White House here just down the street, is one of those Americans who are grateful for President Trump's public safety push. Indu recently told the New York Post that her store was robbed so many times that they had to spend exorbitant sums of money on security, jeopardizing her family's financial future. But thanks to President Trump's strong action, Indu said, quote, "All of my employees, including me, we feel much safer, and even our customers feel really happy when they walk into our store." And just yesterday, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser credited President Trump for surging federal law enforcement personnel and said neighborhoods, quote, "feel and are much safer." We thank Mayor Bowser for her cooperation and her willingness to help us make D.C. safe and beautiful. This entire effort has vindicated what President Trump and law and order advocates have been saying for years. That local
look, let's talk crime. The vast majority of Americans see crime as a huge issue in the US and approve of Donald Trump's handling of it. According to an AP NORC poll, 81% of Americans agree that crime is a major issue, including 96% of Republicans, 68% of Democrats, and 72% of independents, while 53% of Americans approve of the methods by which Trump is combating crime. You know, John, the left, they're all up in arms about this crackdown, particularly in Washington, D.C. But the reality is America wants this. This is exactly what America voted for.
Danica, it is a mystery why Democratic politicians in big cities will not take strong measures to combat crime. They have no cash bail. You know, it's a revolving door. Criminals get arrested. They put them right back out on the street. It's really appalling. And the natural consequence of that is sky-high violent crime rates. Now, in Washington, Donald Trump was able to do what he did because Washington is a unique jurisdiction. It is a federal district. It's the only place in America that's not part of a state. It is run by the federal government. And therefore, by law, Donald Trump had the ability to come in, take over the police force, bring in FBI agents and other federal law enforcement, and bring in the DC National Guard, which is under his command. And so that was a unique opportunity for him to come in and fight crime. Carjackings are down by 87% since this federal takeover in D.C. And so it's very popular. It's popular with people in D.C., and I think it's popular with people across the country.
Yeah, and note even the Washington, D.C. Mayor, Muriel Bowser, she even praised it, given that, yeah, as you said, that 87% reduction in carjackings in just the last 20 days alone. So the proof is absolutely in the pudding.
Staying in the United States, obviously crime is a massive issue, particularly in Democrat-run cities. And so Donald Trump sent the National Guard into Washington. He's threatening to send the National Guard into Chicago as well. And the Democrats have just gone completely insane over this, saying that Trump was preparing for a military occupation of the United States. Now Democrats are saying Trump is preparing to put into detention camps all black people right across America. Have a listen.
We believe that the National Guard and the military occupation is the first step into rounding black people up and putting them in detainment camps here in Washington, D.C. and around the United States of America.
Seriously, not even Forrest Gump would believe that Trump is preparing to detain all black people, all black criminals, no doubt, and white ones as well. But all black people, no one is buying that. But the Democrats keep playing this race card. And the irony is that it's typically black people in Democrat cities who are the victims of crime and who suffer the most because of it. CNN tried to bait a black woman and get her to oppose Trump's intervention, but she was having none of it.
I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all.
Imagine if the Democrats were as passionate about law-abiding citizens as they are about criminals, Freya. America would be a very different country.